made a bonnet inspired by the TV show Friends for my friend. She mentioned that she wanted a bonnet, and I know that Friends is also her favorite TV show. So instead of making a basic, boring bonnet, I decided to incorporate her favorite show and some sparkles. To begin, I'm pressing my satin fabric to make sure that it's nice and smooth all over. And then I'm going to cut out a giant circle with a diameter of 24 inches. To cut out a circle, you have to first decide your diameter, which is the length of the circle from one end to the other end. And then you divide that by half. So 24 divided by 2 is 12 inches. Then I like to pin the fabric together to prevent them from moving all around. Now, from the pointy edge of the square, I'm going to put one pointy edge of my ruler on that same pointy edge of the square, and I'm going to measure 12 inches and make a mark. Now, while keeping the pointy edge of my ruler on that same pointy edge of my square, I'm going to slowly pivot vertically, and as I'm pivoting, I'm going to keep marking 12 inches. And remember, the pointy edge of your ruler has to constantly stay on the pointy edge of the square as you're pivoting upwards. So I'm going to keep pivoting upwards until I reach the very end of my fabric. Then I'm going to take my rotary cutter or a pair of scissors and cut through all the markings that I made. Now I'm going to have this pie looking shape that will be a circle when I open it up. Now, with the right sides of my fabric facing each other, I'm going to clip all around the circle, and then I'm going to make small incisions on the wrong side of my fabric so that I can slide my eyelets into them. Once I slide them in, I'm going to use these plier looking things to attach them in place. Then I'm going to sew all around my circle, but I'm going to leave about a 2 to 3 inch opening to allow me turn my fabric to the right side. Once I flip my fabric to the right side, I'm going to iron my fabric, and then I'll create a casing for the elastic cord by top stitching about an inch from the edge of my fabric. Now we're done sewing the bonnet, and it's time for the rhinestone design. The rhinestone flock is sticking in the back, so I just slap it onto my table. I created the templates in an app called Inkscape, and I used a Cricut cutting machine to cut the templates onto this blue thing called rhinestone flock. So normally you're supposed to use something called a rhinestone brush to wiggle the rhinestones into the holes, but I didn't feel like buying one. And after trying various household items, I discovered that fur could replicate what the rhinestone brush does. So I used some scrap fur that I had lying around to wiggle the rhinestones into the holes. Then using a rhinestone tape, I stick it onto the surface of the rhinestones that have been placed into the template. And then when I lift it, the rhinestones just adhere to it. Then I take that and slap it onto my fabric. After doing the Friends design, I decided not to include it because I felt like it would look awkward since there was no sensible place to put it. I then decided to bedazzle the empty space around the lobster design so it's not just bare and empty. After using the heat press to permanently attach the rhinestones to my fabric, this is what it looks like. And I'm so excited. It's so cute and so sparkly. Oh my god, I can't stop looking at it. Okay, so now I'm inserting the elastic cord into the casing. And once it's in, I'm just going to put on the toggle to make the bonnet adjustable. And then I'll glue the aglets onto the end of the elastic cord. And this is the final result, you guys. I love how it turned out. I hope she likes it too. I'm glad that I was able to incorporate something with orange in it because orange is her favorite color. Yeah, I can't wait to give it to her. She's definitely an amazing friend, wonderful human. I love her so much, and um I hope she likes it. Okay, so a quick side note. So this was the initial design that I wanted to go with, but I guess I didn't attach the tape properly. So when I was taking it to the heat press machine, the rhinestones kind of all got messed up and jumbled together. So I had to take everything down and redo it. And then the second time around, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go with a simple design because the first one looked a bit cluttered and I didn't like that look. So tell me, you guys, tell me in the comments, which design do you prefer? Do you prefer the final design or do you prefer the one that I initially made that got all messed up? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next dopamine craft episode. Bye. Mwah.